Hello friends, welcome back. In this session, we will start learning the machine learning, deep learning and data science related interview questions. And I plan to have about 10 sessions and I have collected good set of interview questions that will be very helpful for you, I believe. And in this session, we will see about 10 to 12 questions and I will give you the answers for the same. This includes question from machine learning, deep learning and data science. Define data science. Where are the applications found? Data science is a blend of various tools, algorithms, and machine learning principles with the goal to discover hidden patterns from the raw data. I have raw data in hand. I need to really find some information out of it. How can I do it? I need to go ahead with data science for extracting those raw information. That's called data science. There are a lot of applications, but few of the highlightable applications are presented here. Recommender system, image recognition, speech recognition, internet market. Internet market is a huge topic. So if we divide it further, if you go deeper into it further, you may find another n number of topics out from there. Differentiate supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is something where it is all properly labeled with the input data. We have proper label for the input data, so training would be much more easier. But input data is totally unlabeled when it comes to unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is used for prediction. One simple example is classification and regression. In regression, you predict. As I keep teaching you in the machine learning playlist and the deep learning playlist, I have used the terms regression quite often. And there I told you that regression is all about prediction. So supervised learning can be used for prediction, but unsupervised learning can be used pretty much for analysis. Classification and regression can come under the supervised learning category, whereas clustering, dimension reduction can come under the unsupervised learning category. One example is always good for everything that we learn. So here you can see that mother teaching son about what is banana and what is apple for 3 or 4 days continuously and then checking with the son which is banana and apple is an example for supervised learning. The mother teaches, son learns, son repeats. That's all. It's supervised learning, properly trained, input data is properly labeled, the mother is giving proper training with the label, and that's easy. Now, if a child is produced with a child is given with a set of images, and if the child is asked to classify, child is asked to cluster is the right term. If the child is asked to cluster the animals which are present in the picture, for example, if the child is asked to cluster which is going to be the cat, which features are going to be the dogs, it's going to be very important, and that comes under the category of the unsupervised learning. Now the child will start analyzing the features, the child will start looking deeper into the picture, and then it will analyze the features, and then the child can give you which is dog and which is cat for an example. Right. Define variance. This is a very important question. Please remember, whenever you attend the deep learning or machine learning or data science interview, this question could be there quite often. So define variance. Variance occurs when the model performs very well only with the trained data set. I stress it, only with the trained data set, but it does not do well on the data set that is not trained on, like the test data set or the validation data set is referred as variance. Variance tell us how exactly scattered are the predicted values from the actual value. What do you mean by that? Very simple. I have got a set of data set. I train the model with the data set. I train the model with the portion of the data set. It performs very nicely with that. It doesn't do well with rest of the data set or the new data set that it has got no exposure with. This is called variance. Normally, variance would get you something called as overfitting. The side effect is overfitting, and it is a very dangerous issue that you need to sort out. And I'll tell you how exactly to sort that out as well. The side effects are going to be getting a lot of overfitting issues. Now, what is bias? Bias and variance are coming like together. They are like twin brothers. Whenever you talk about variance, the next question would be bias for you. So what is bias? Bias will tell you how far are the predicted values from the actual values. How far are the predicted values from the actual values? If the average predicted values are far from the actual value, then the bias is high. I predict that Kohli will score a century today. He has scored 99, then the bias is minimal. I predicted Kohli will score a century today, but he has scored only 10 runs. The bias is big. So this will lead to underfitting. Variance will lead to overfitting. Bias will lead to underfitting. Remember that high bias is also to be avoided, and this will definitely cause lot of damages, and the model may not perform well. So bias should be properly handled. You should not have underfitting, and overfitting is the point that I'm trying to convey. And please understand, the variance is connected to overfitting, bias is connected to underfitting. Give a practical example for overfitting, underfitting, and correct fitting. I've taken a very simple example here. You can see that a boy given with a dress which is stitched. This is underfitting. This doesn't fit him properly. This is correct fitting. This is apt fit, and this is overfitting. This covers his entire leg, but it has to cover only till knee. This is the best example that I can tell you so quickly. So this is the example for underfitting, correct fitting, and overfitting. When it comes to graph, you can see that the underfit graph, you can see that it covers only few points out here and misses most of the points. Good fit, robust fit covers wherever possible and outliers are missed properly. So this is a good fit. Overfitted, it takes each and every point and it covers everything, which is practically impossible. So remember it, underfitting, overfitting, and correct fitting is a very important question, and probably you can use this example to explain interviewer how exactly the underfitting and overfitting could look like. You can take an example of a shirt or a trouser or something like that, and you can explain. That would really be impressive for the interviewer. Differentiate underfitting and overfitting. I've just given you an instance, but we did not give you a technical explanation. You can see the graph here. This is underfitted and this is overfitted. Let's go with the overfit. You can see that all the points are covered. This is ideally impossible. This is ideally impossible. We are going to cover even the noise and the outliers, which means that it is not a good approach. You are not looking into ideal model. You are trying to cover everything, which may not happen every time. This model will get you high variance, and this is called overfitting. When you try to cover everything, missing out the noise, missing out the outliers, we call it overfitted, and this definitely leads to high variance. Coming to the underfitted one, you can see that this model did not at all cover the points that are to be covered. This misses almost everything, and this is called underfitting. This is called high bias. The last one is called high variance when it comes to overfitting. This is called underfitting, where it results in high bias. This is what I explained to you a couple of slides back, and this is an important question. Right. How do you combat overfitting? You can add noise, you can go with feature selection, increase the training set, use cross-validation techniques. This is a very important solution that people follow normally. Boosting and bagging, dropout technique. I spoke about this dropout technique in my theoretical explanation of machine learning and deep learning playlist, so you can refer to it whenever you have time. So adding noise, feature selection, increased training, cross-validation techniques, boosting and bagging, dropout techniques. All this will help you in combating overfitting. Now, obviously, the next question would be, how do you combat underfitting? Features addition and more training. No much options are there. Go with these two. You will get best model available for you. Now, what is regularization? This is such a very important question. Regularization is nothing but a process of inclusion of a tuning parameter to a model to induce smoothness. I want a model to be very smooth, so I'll add one more tuning parameter, two more tuning parameters there to ensure smoothness. This will help in preventing overfitting. Why do we go with regularization? To prevent overfitting, we are going with regularization, and this will help me in adding parameters, tuning parameters. That's it. Now, can you define confounding variables? This is such an important question. I repeat, this is a very important question. This has got influence with both dependent and independent variable. What do you mean by that? Very simple. These variables will have got influence with the input and output. These variables have got the direct influence with the input and the output, which are nothing but independent and dependent variables. To get it better understanding, we will explain you with an example. Let's take cycling and weight loss. Cycling is an independent variable, it's the input. Weight loss is the dependent variable. Based on number of kilometers you cycle every day, weight loss will be reported. But here, what can be the confounding variable? Very simple, age of the person, gender of the person. It could be a confounding variable, without which you cannot really detect what can be the weight loss. That could be an influencing parameter, and that's what confounding variable is all about. Python or R, which is preferred for text analysis. Close your eyes and tick Python. Python is very strong in terms of libraries and in terms of packages available. And Pandas is like the king. We use it every time, day in and day out, and that provides you the best possible options for you to do the analysis. And we have all the high performance analysis tools available with Python. Hence, Python is better for most of the analysis. Python is generally found to be faster, including text analysis. Let's see more questions in the next session. I hope this is useful. If you have any comments, feedbacks, please go ahead and type it in the comment section. I'll be happy to take up. And if you like the channel and the content, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you.